What is going on, guys? Ryan here with another episode of the Dent Digest. So you see, I've got a little special guest here. S was nice enough to drive forever to get here.
Yeah, traffic was pretty bad.
I'm lucky because he's only like an hour and a half away from me. So last week, you know that didn't have a show last week. I'm sure you guys missed me rambling on about dent tools and random stuff.
Yeah.
I took a family vacation. But let me tell you, I'm more tired now than I was before I left.
Yeah. It's the opposite of a vacation.
I looked at my wife and I said, this is a vacation?
Mm-hmm.
It's not my type of vacation. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
So
tell me this, when you got back and started pushing.
It was terrible.
No, but was it also therapeutic? Like relaxing in a way?
Yeah. But it was terrible.
Yeah.
I looked at Shane
and I said, to catch up on?
Not just that. It was just, I was like, man, I'm not pushing good.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? It was 6 days of not pushing. I was completely disconnected.
Yeah.
So, so let's get into you a little bit. Let's get into how you got into Paintless, how you got hooked up with staNLINER.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into your whole story.
Well, basically, grew up in Maine. I've been a gearhead since I can remember, and just been doing everything with cars, as far as mechanical performance goes. And I never heard about paintless dent repair. And I even went out to Wyotech in California, did auto refinishing and body work over there. Yeah. And I finished that up. Still never heard of PDR. And then I moved to Virginia, and I was over there, and I pretty much done everything you can do with the automotive industry, except for like upholstery or whatnot. And so at this place that I was working, I spoke to a paint rep, and he was telling me about some guy locally that was a hail tech and Chase Hale, started a body shop. Unfortunately, got a coke habit, lost it all.
No.
But the beginning of the story sounded good. And so I was...
Hey, it happens, you know. It happens. It's not the first time I've heard that story.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, I think I fell in love with the idea of it. I wanted to do something for myself. And the first thing I did was looked up podcasts on it. And I found PDR College.
Oh, yeah, good one.
And so I literally listened to every single episode. At the time, it was like 170 episodes. And I took notes in every episode and made a plan and decided that's what I wanted to do.
Hey, that was like me.
Yeah.
I had a really, really good job with CarMax.
Mm-hmm.
As an inventory manager, making really good money, really good benefits. And I saw these little guys running around pushing dents. I'm like, what are they doing? See, with these little rods. And back then, they were blazing holes in every panel they could blaze a hole
with
in.
With fluorescent lights.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you look at this stuff because you're not introduced to it.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're intrigued.
It's exotic.
Because you're a car guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And you look at this stuff, you're like, holy crap, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And I watched it for probably 6 months, 7 months. And then my good friend Dave Johnson came along and was like, hey, I'm making more money than you've ever seen. And I was like, I'm good. He's like, look, you want a job?
Yeah.
So I think in this business, I say it all the time, you kind of need to be a car guy.
I think it helps tremendously, especially with the R&I, and how to, kind of have an idea of what's behind that panel and what you're going to have to be sensitive with or delicate with, and what you can kind of be a little rougher
I'm a bull.
with. Exactly. Yeah.
I break everything.
And even just taking interior trim apart.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of have to manhandle some things to get it apart. Yeah. But if you're not a car guy, you're not used to that, it's going to be intimidating.
Yeah. I mean, like when I was interviewing guys to come on before I hired Shane, there were some guys, I don't even know how to use a socket set. And
exactly.
Like, you're never going to make it.
No, that's not going to work.
You're never going to.
You almost have to be mechanically inclined.
At least
and
a little
have
bit.
a MacGyver mentality.
Some days, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing in our business is you take a tool and you have to think,
yes,
is this tool going to work?
Yes.
Or how can I make it work?
You have to be able to visualize.
Yes.
And that's the key.
Yes.
Yep.
So keep going with your story.
So PDR College, did my research. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And then I did my research as to who to train with. And a really fitting option for me was to go and train with Marty Runick up in Northern California, and an opportunity to go back to California. So I went out there, trained with him. And after that,
2 weeks?
2 weeks. Yep. Did awesome training as far as the fundamentals go. And I was really happy I went with him. Got back and, started PDR company and I was servicing local companies, mostly wholesale. And then I'm still listening to PDR College.
Mhm.
And then I heard one podcast where it was Cliff Romano was on it.
Mhm.
And he was talking about his experience with StainLiner. And I realized that this is a whole different perspective on how to look at things. You could have your experience from the States as far as the general style
Mhm.
that's over here. And to have a whole nother perspective on how to look at the repair process, I think really broadens your capabilities.
Now, one of the guys are asking, what year did you start?
It was October of 16 when I
16.
finished the program with Marty. And then about a year later, I trained with StainLiner.
Okay.
It was a year or 2 years later.
How long was the training at StainLiner?
1 week.
Okay.
1 week of advanced training.
In Lithuania,
In
which is a
Lithuania.
whole nother experience.
Yes, it is. And that's why I wanted it. I wanted that whole different, that different
your
paradigm of approaching stuff.
And I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah.
And I'm an old Dentwizard guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big believer in when you take somebody out of their element
Mm-hmm.
and you put them into a situation to where they're not 100% comfortable,
Yes.
they learn faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you. That's why it's good to travel for those types of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in Missouri for I don't know how many months when I was with the Wiz.
You limit distractions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all you're thinking is dents.
Yeah. You have more of a purpose for being there.
So you go to StainLiner, you've
Mhm.
got a little bit of experience. Was it like starting over?
It is very unique. It's very different.
You had the basics.
I had the basics. So, light reflection, how to read the dent, and tool positioning or finding the tool tip, all that stuff. That all applies. The majority of the basics apply. But it's how you utilize those basic skills and how to cycle through the dent repair process.
Mhm.
And even how to finish it, and even how even the tools are different, and
Yeah.
the way the tools push are different.
We
The
just
way you
had this
push with the tools are
conversation.
different. Yes.
I said, we were talking about one of the tools, and I said, I don't know how to use it. And he's
Well, you
like,
know how to use the crane.
I do.
Yeah.
But that was because
It's
of
the
you.
power hook. Yeah.
It for me, I'm an old dog.
Mm.
This will be 18 some years.
Wow.
If I look at my tool bag, it's not the first one I'm grabbing.
Oh, of course.
And that's my own fault because I talked to John Scotto,
Yeah.
and that dude lives and dies
Yeah.
StainLiner.
You should see his shop. It's beautiful. I mean, he's got this tool wall. Beautiful. It's basically all StainLiner tools up there.
And while we're talking about his shop,
Mhm.
first weekend in March 7th, we are having an East Coast Dent Tech meetup. S is going to be there, putting him on the spot right now.
All right.
He doesn't have a choice. So we're going to have a ton of giveaways. It should be a really good weekend up there. And his shop's
It's
new
a beautiful
and
shop.
really
A lot
clean.
of room too.
If you want to try almost every StainLiner out
Yep.
there, he's got a lot of StainLiners. So
Yeah, that's very true. And if I'm there, that's good too for the StainLiner.
you're going to be there.
Yeah.
You don't
I
have
think
a
I might go.
choice.
September.
You don't have a choice now. Now you're
March.
on.
March is good.
Now you're on
Yeah.
TV, as my kid says. So
Yeah, it's official now.
StainLiner, you're there. You're
Yep.
training with Kaz.
Mhm. How is that?
Yeah.
So it's unique, as I've said. First of all, his training facility he's got a real nice training facility right beside his house, and his house looks like
A wood cabin.
no, it's not. It's beautiful. It's a huge, like a classic house. It looks like something I don't know. Maybe it's messed up, but Eastern European. I mean,
Of course.
Central European, as
Of
they
course.
would say. It's very unique, old classic style brick house.
Yeah.
Just been there. Looks like for
I
over
saw
1,000
pictures of his
years.
deck.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks nice out there.
Yeah,
And
they have good
behind,
taste out there.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the garage that he built out there looks really nice. They were working on it when I was there, and I got lucky with being able to have one-on-one. I usually try to shoot for two guys at a time, but I was able to get in there, one-on-one. So it went really well, and I was really, really happy that I went out there. And it also struck a really good relationship with StainLiner.
And
That's what
Kaz,
I'm
I mean,
here
I
now.
spent almost an hour with him at MTE.
Yeah,
And for his age,
yeah, exactly.
dude moves.
Yep.
I mean, and I was talking to Thomas, and I said, he's always saying how hard his dad works.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I said, you don't understand.
Yeah.
It's his passion.
He can't stop.
It's almost like an addiction.
It is. It is. It really is.
But you can't hate on a guy that has so much passion into something
and so many ideas.
Yes.
Like he when I was there training with him, so we would train up until the evening, and then he would literally just, and I would go back to my room, and he would just go to making tools, and he would make tools specifically for me. Throughout the night, he would get maybe like 4 hours of sleep, and then the next morning we're training again. And he's an older gentleman. I'm telling him, relax. He's like, he can't. He has these ideas all the time, and he can't stop.
Yeah. I mean, it's his passion drives him.
Nature, yeah, it really is. He works hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really does.
And I try to explain. I get a lot of customers, and I have some of those in my tool bag, and I pull them out. Actually, a guy today, and he looks at him. He's like, "Man, they're really nice."
Yeah, they're very impressive looking.
And you know what I say? It's the Ferrari.
Yep.
It's the Ferrari of a lot of the tools that are out there.
Yeah, the way I say it is you're getting a Ferrari for a BMW price, because it's not astronomically more expensive. Maybe it's up there, higher end.
I don't think it is.
It's not by much.
I think it's
but
about
you're getting
right
something
priced.
that's that European,
Yeah.
fine.
It's like
fine
a Swiss made watch.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
even just the material is
yeah,
very good German stainless steel. So
it's when he saw them, he was like, he could tell, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. But like I said, I can't use them all.
Yeah,
I just can't.
Yeah,
that's
what this training seminar is going to be so good for.
You're right.
Yep.
So we're gonna get into something real quick. I kind of want to get after you went with StainLINER. Let's finish you first.
Okay.
After you went to StainLINER, you were there for a week.
Yep.
How'd you go from there? What did you end up doing?
So got back into town, and I'm here locally in Virginia, and went back to work. And about 2 weeks later, I look at my tool cart. I love it. I'm rolling out creases instead of stitching out creases. I'm doing all these things, and like my customers are impressed, and they're seeing a difference, and I'm seeing a difference. I'm really liking it, but I still wasn't fully utilizing the tools. So I looked at my cart, and I still saw the majority were still my old tools. I was kind of disappointed. I was like, oh no, why am I not using all these? Because I came back with 15 tools. I didn't plan on it. That's just how it goes when you see them.
See, guys, you got to realize this. When you go to the StainLINER booth, you don't buy one.
Yeah.
You can't buy one.
Get them while you can.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's the truth.
It really is.
Sometimes you can get them. Sometimes you can't get them.
Exactly. And like I said, Kaz has so many ideas. He just wants to get these ideas out there sometimes. So he'll have special edition tools for certain events, and you may not ever see them again. So it's like you really, really get them while you can. It really is like that. And that's not just a marketing gimmick. It's the truth. I've seen it myself.
And I'll tell you, just my experience with MT 2 years ago, I look at you and I'm like, I didn't know any. I watched it online and I'm like, what's going to make me grab this tool over what I'm going to use? And you're like, just come with me. And he's a really good, you explain it really, really well. You break it down. And that's why I bought tools.
Yeah.
I spent some time with Kaz, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm not taking a door off a car. I'm not gutting it.
Yeah. And see, a lot of people, they see that, and they some of them will miss the point. Like, the point is not that this is how you have to approach a door down all the time. The point is, this is how the tool works.
Exactly.
And then we're all dent techs. We all have the MacGyver, mentality. Then you can imagine and visualize how it will work. You can use, and that's something you need to develop over time. So like I said, when I got back, I wasn't utilizing all my tools. I was disappointed. And so I was like, all right, whatever. So I kept on working. And about a month later or 2 months later, I look at my cart and it's like all StainLINER. Like, oh, so it just walking back and forth between your cart and the car and just seeing it. And then you picked it up this one time, maybe it didn't work. You picked it up, this other time, that time. Eventually you really hone in, and then that, you train your brain that this is how these tools work. This is what it's good for.
I love the hand tools.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because they're unique.
Yep.
Like there's some weird, unique ones that I have. And just yesterday I used it and I'm like, that's the only tool that I could get on this dent.
Yep. And a lot of power.
And it was clean.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been doing.
They don't bend. They look, I mean, some of them are very, very small.
Yep.
they don't ever bend. And
It's that-
sometimes you're cranking, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So you look at some of the weird stuff and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love hand tools. I love
Yeah.
the little.
I've been using the hand tools almost. Yeah, I've only been using their hand tools. I chased hail this year. That's something I want to do, and I've been using StainLiner tools predominantly, if not all the time, even on the top panels or whatnot.
Yeah.
They're hand tools to get in beside the braces. Of
I
the
heard
hoods
you
and
when you were
whatnot.
at with John Vidine.
Yeah, I
you
was
were
up there with him.
You were, what were you doing? Samurai and
Oh,
something.
yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that thing.
Yeah,
That was loud.
it is. It's loud and samurai, but you don't have to always samurai everything. And even there's a new tool, the hail spoon.
Mhm.
I find myself doing samurai with it, but also doing it. It's a technique that I've developed with the tool.
And John just said that. John says,
Yeah.
you guess what? And I'm like, what's that? He goes, I've been using that spoon the wrong way.
Mm.
Because you were at his shop the other
Yeah,
day, and he's
yeah.
like, you showed him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, he wasn't even using the wrong way.
he was just
He wasn't fully utilizing
Yes,
it. Yeah.
yes.
He was using it, probably like 40% of what it. And here's the thing: so many times I've seen guys come to the booth at the MTEs or whatnot, and I'll ask them, "Hey, have you tried this tool in this sort of situation?" They're like, "Oh yeah, I do it. Yeah, I do it. I do it all the time." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that's nice, And they do it, and they can get the dent done with the tool. But then it's like, oh, well, let's see how you do it. And so they start doing it, and they're not doing it the original way the tool is designed to be utilized.
Yeah.
And then once you show them, they're like, oh, this is how it should be feeling. So that happens a lot. A lot of guys think that they are using it to its full potential.
Yeah.
But then they're surprised to find out, oh, there's still more. Because even using it in the classic sense, it'll get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can say, like, this tool is so clean.
Mm-hmm.
You would look at this tool if you're a dent guy and you really have never seen StainLiner, you're going to think you're pushing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you're not.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll use the side.
Oh yeah.
Or I use
Direct
this a
push.
lot.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and the other, I just got what was the Sharp Ray snake?
The Sharp Ray snake. Yep.
I use it all the time.
Yep.
I want the regular Ray snake, the soft one.
The 1/2-inch diameter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great for bedsides.
It's so clean.
Yeah. Exactly.
But like I said, Pirate Hook.
Like you would have to try hard to poke up something with this. Really hard.
Yeah.
You tire yourself out. Like you can move a lot of metal in a very precise fashion without poking it up. And I would say, if I could sum up StainLiner advantage, that's a big part of their advantage.
Yeah. And I think the stainless helps.
Yeah, the German gray stainless steel.
Yeah.
That's what gives it that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that power.
So you get out, you're running some hail this year.
Yeah.
All over. I know you were with John Vidine.
I was with him. I was with Q.
Mm-hmm.
I was with Pete. These guys are all in Minneapolis area.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a couple of good storms. I'm sure a lot of you saw it through Don Kavanaugh's shop.
Yeah.
So it was a good storm out there. And I worked over there. I worked in West Virginia with the Corden brothers a little bit. I worked in Virginia area. I worked in Maryland. Cyrus.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with him.
Yeah, from Rockville.
Yep. And it's been a great experience. I worked with a gentleman from North Carolina, Brian.
Oh,
he had me a gig in Michigan. So my first year chasing hail, and I fell in love with it. Definitely want to do
You're
it.
hooked now.
Yeah, I'm hooked.
He's a typical guy. Sees the money, enjoys the travel.
Yeah, I really do. I can see myself doing it until my kid is in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were obviously at the last StainLiner event at Don Kavanaugh's.
Yes, the first.
And it seemed like it was a really good event.
It was a great event, and a lot of guys had a lot of good feedback. And here's the thing: it's almost like this event. It's almost like a shotgun blast of StainLiner technique.
100%.
Because you have a variety of technicians, all explaining and showing these techniques through their own unique way. So it's whatever type of person you are, through one of the technicians, it's gonna click, and you're gonna get, it's gonna click with all of them in different perspectives. And so you have multiple workstations, multiple
and I like
technicians
that. I like
teaching
that
the same technique.
Had one of them with a fender,
Yeah,
and a wheel,
yeah,
to make it real life
Exactly,
scenarios.
And we plan on having a hail station specific, so that kind of brings it all together. And that's what's really cool about it. So it's like guys will rotate, work with different technicians, and get different perspectives and different ways of articulating the repair.
Now, with that event, you had how many? There were quite a few people there.
Yeah, there was. I don't remember the count to be honest, but it was quite a few people.
It was a good
The
turnout.
shop was full. And it was a Don shop.
And it was a nice shop.
Yeah, very good facility.
The thing I do enjoy is, even though there's a little bit of a language barrier with Kaz,
Yes.
you get it.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
I
do.
spent an hour with them.
Yep.
And I did a video right after MT last year about my experience. And I wanted to emphasize that we had a language barrier a little bit,
Yep.
but I could understand what we were doing.
Yes.
He's very good at that.
At visually showing
Yes.
what he's trying to convey.
100%.
Yes. And you really get that with Kaz. The movements and how you move and the visual aspect of it all.
Yeah.
And then maybe with some of the other guys, you'll get a little bit more of the articulation.
You were really
of the
good
repair.
too. Yeah. I didn't spend any time. I'm trying to think who was there. I didn't spend any time with Cliff.
Yeah.
But you were really, really good at MTE just in that, little bit of time we had.
Yeah.
You kind of broke it down.
Yep.
And I think with like you and I think it's easier for you because you understand the American way.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were like, no, don't push.
Yeah.
You're gonna drag, or you're gonna, you're gonna
Yeah.
just slowly roll it. Don't push.
Yeah.
So I think with you being addition to their team is a big help because you really understand the American style or way that they do it.
Yeah, and there's a variety of styles within the American style, but I think there's a general style here, and to get a whole nother perspective.
100%.
It's like Mike Fleet always says, it's mixed martial dents.
Yeah.
So if you were, let's say, in the MMA, you don't want one discipline.
No.
You want to have at least a few different disciplines that can help you in, standing up of ground or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And this is like that. You want more than one discipline. I think that can really excel your skills.
100%.
Yep.
So that event, you guys, they had a bunch of release tools that
every event's like that.
You know what I mean? It's I guess it makes it hard sometimes too.
Hard not to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't plan on it.
Yeah, I mean, like even at MT this year, they released the spoon.
Yeah.
And they were gone.
The spoon, I'm telling you, I love that thing.
They were gone.
Gone, yeah. And I'm not sure when they're going to be available again.
I know he said it's very hard to make.
It's very hard. It's very time consuming to make, but I love that thing. I really do. So the way you can just, when let's say on a hell dent, when you get the meat of it out, you reveal the root, the shape of the root damage. And then with that spoon, you can push in so many different angles where you can really just kind of retrace that root and bring it back out.
The way that it went in.
Exactly. Yep. You can capture so many different angles with that tool. So I've been using it a lot this hail season.
So let's get into he brought some tools. We're going to get into those real quick.
Yep. This is a tool.
So that's
we'll have tool. More about later. This is just released. And again, this is similar to this tool right here, but again, it's just straight. And so the idea is to push with that knife edge. And you've seen what kind of results that gives you. I mean, you can just push with it. Use it the way you use your tools now, and you will see a difference. And you can samurai with it and reverse blending with it. It's very well balanced for that.
And that's a straight crane.
This is the new straight crane.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And this is the original crane tool. There's another crane tool that's
Fender.
For the Fender. Yeah.
And that is just this tool with more of a kick.
Yeah. So you basically leverage off of the tire, and you can samurai with it or direct push right up inside the fender.
This looks like a good one too.
Yeah, so you can see it's not that used as my other tools because I just got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a release that just recently.
Yeah, when Thomas he recently went to Lithuania, and I think these are some tools he came back with.
Yeah. Yep. You guys seeing it first. Seeing it first. So what else we got here?
So I only have two other tools. One of them is a set. And this is really, really nice. So these are, you can call them door tools, but they really do a lot more than that. I'm going to show that angle.
It's almost like a right and left.
A right and a left, like that. Right, like that. And so like this. I really would love to have a shorter set too. You know, for doors having a shorter set would be nice. But that angle right there, you can really curve around different contours of a panel and just reach up into something. Or even I had this Tesla Model 3 trunk that I was doing hail dents on. And man, this thing was getting all over the trunk and just either going this way up into it or that way up into it.
Yeah, because you get those weird
quarter
holes.
panels and just really hug the contours and the concaves of a panel. And one side you can do, you know, broader pushing, and then you have more precision on this.
Yeah, because one end is kind of rounded.
Yes.
The other end is kind of flat.
Yep. So there's other tools that are like this that have that bend to it, so that the point of the tool comes into the panel a little more straight on. But the difference with this tool is, yes, it has that aspect to it, but you can really utilize the backside of it. So they're both
and it's softer.
Yes, equally usable, and that's what's really good about it.
You know, this is more of a softer.
Yep. And these will be available. I believe they're making these for the event.
Okay.
And these are really good. I really recommend those.
So we keep talking about the event. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's been kind of out there a little bit, but they've got another StainLINER event.
Yep.
Number 2.
We're trying to make it really convenient for you guys by offering it the 2 days before MTE in Orlando.
So, and one thing I always want to say, you don't think that this event he's always going to have this event. Because you don't,
Kaz himself.
You don't know.
Yes. And we've said it before, you know, but it's always been true. And it's always more true than it was in the past. You know, Kaz is really up there in age.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can even still fix dents also says another thing about the tools and the techniques is that it is less strain on the body and on the joints. And Dave Stream will also actually be at the event, and he will kind of highlight some of those aspects that he's all about. That
he's big on that, yes,
and not being damaging on the joints and on the body.
Yes.
And these techniques and tools, I think, really help with that. So that's one of the guests that's going to be there. But Kaz, he's been doing it a long time, and his age is up there. And like I said, he works his body hard.
I think the other thing is the travel's tough, man.
Travel's very tough on him, and really, it's just one of those things, you know, it could be, it's true for all of us if this is going to be our last event or whatnot. But for him, you know, he might get to a point where he doesn't want to do that travel ever again. So it is literally one of those get it while you can type things. If you want that one-on-one experience with Kaz, this is a great opportunity for that.
And there's going to be tools released that you can't get unless you're at the event.
Yep. And not just that, you will have first dibs on these tools before the MTE. And our experience with the MTEs is we have, you know, a mad rush. And right in the beginning of MTE, and people are in a big line trying to get stuff. So if you want to get ahead of that rush, you know, this is a good opportunity to get in there. You know, also get that training and get the opportunity to get some of these tools.
And I think it's not a one-on-one experience, but it is at the same time.
Yeah. Well,
the one thing I like is there's multiple people there.
Yeah,
there's multiple inputs.
Yes. Yep.
So, you know, I think it's going to be another good event. Some guys are going to enjoy it because it's the same week as MTE.
Yes.
It's wintertime. Guys are slower.
It's a tax write-off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get it before the year ends.
Look at the salesman over here. Tax write-off.
Makes sense.
So at this event, what's going on?
So another special thing we're going to have at this event, something that I'm personally very excited about, is we'll be able to see Bryce Kelly. He's going to be there for one of these days, and he's going to show how he utilizes the StainLINER tools. Now, he's never had formal StainLINER training, and that's what gives him a unique ability to show how he uses
his own
tools.
Style.
Yeah, his own style, and we all love his results.
Of course.
And I'm very excited to see how he utilizes these tools. I'm very impressed with
So you're excited
very much.
Just to spend time with Bryce.
Yes. Yeah. I'm very excited about that.
You know, Kaz will be there. You'll be there. Cliff
Ramadan will be there. Juan Bachetta will be
there.
Oh,
yeah, Juan.
Yep. I think we might have Kaz's other son, younger son.
That's right. He was at MTE
him there
last
too,
year.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing, I don't know if you guys have ever been there. If you haven't been to MTE, for one, you got to go.
Yeah.
For two, the StainLINER booth is bonkers.
Yeah.
So if you go to the event, you don't have to deal with the bonkerness.
Yep. but still come by.
Yeah.
Say hi.
The other thing I like is you and Cliff explain. I'll look at some of the stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
help me out here.
Yeah.
Like we got in early last year, and I was like, look, dude, this is what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Help me out here. You're like, this is really good. This is really good. And then I'm gonna go pay, and you're like, are you sure you don't want to get these two? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. He's like, are you sure?
And I'm not trying to be a salesman.
No,
I don't
you
even
know,
like that idea, I'm sincerely saying it.
You know, you've got an idea at that point what I'm using.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and I was really happy you came out there. That you took some time out to check it out.
Do you guys have anything to offer to these guys? You got anything
for your
special?
viewers? We will be letting them have a 10% discount until the end of the year. So the code is SPS 10. SPS 10.
Nice.
So type in that code and you'll get a 10% discount on the event.
That's
which
awesome.
is a good chunk.
It's like 200 and some bucks.
Yeah.
Which I know we had a Black Friday deal for that,
Yep.
and that's over. So
we really appreciate you having us, StainLINER, having me on the show and give us the platform to get the message out there. So
hey,
thank you.
Whatever we can do to help.
Yeah.
It's I think it's a unique thing, and I've said this multiple times. I've had this conversation. A lot of people have messaged me about the StainLINER. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
For education, you can never have too much education.
No.
If you have a brain surgeon, he's still learning.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is
practice, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's different techniques, different new technology. Yeah.
And and even Kaz, he's up there in age, and there's a lot of guys that are up there in age that kind of get cemented into their ways. But this guy's mind is something else. I'm telling you. He's always coming up with new ways and new styles and new tools. He's just always thinking and he literally has dreams about some of these stuff. And then he goes and makes it and it works. And he's really unique when it comes to this tool development process. Oh, also, Kaz will be up for nominee on Tool Person of the Year, I believe.
Yeah, you have to vote.
MTE.
Today's the last day.
Today's the last day. Yeah, if you guys could sign on there, that'd be really cool. Something special for Kaz.
MTE website. You can go on. It's all the awards for the people on there.
Yep.
You can go in and just pick different people and different awards.
I think Thomas could probably post a link on his StainLINER tool page. So
he did post one. He posted a little while ago. So if you go to StainLINER's page, there's a link there that directs you directly to there.
Nice.
And in my video, I even said it. I even told Thomas, I appreciated the time that he spent. It was an hour.
It's something you remember.
100%.
Time with him is something.
You know what
remember.
it was? It was a once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
He's busy. He's all over the place. He's trying to do stuff. He's struggling with some of the language barriers too.
Yes.
But like I said, he's really good.
He's very much in his zone too.
100%.
That's where he lives for that.
Yeah.
He really does.
But I enjoyed being able to be there and do that, And
honestly, Kaz has a long history in the industry that I didn't witness because I'm new to the industry. So a veteran like you probably heard about Kaz in the past and, different stories of what he can do and whatnot. So somebody as a veteran.
What was that code? DSP?
SPS 10.
SPS. All right.
For a veteran, they probably heard of Kaz or StainLINER in the past, and to be able to see him now after a few years, that's probably pretty cool. I don't have that because I was new to the industry.
True. And I'll be honest with you. So when I first saw the StainLINER stuff coming around, I was like,
what year?
4 years ago?
Yeah.
4 years ago? I was like,
what is this? Yeah.
They're shiny. They look really nice.
Yeah.
What's the hype?
Exactly. Yeah.
I personally still don't get all of them, but a lot of that's my own self because it's not my first.
That's going to change.
That's
going to change.
It's not my first go. I mean, Scotto talks about it. John Vidine does rants and raves.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
there's quite a few guys that are real believers and they're veterans.
Yeah.
So I think it says a lot.
And even Bryce,
exactly. The fact that he uses them, I think I really look up to Bryce's skills, and I think everyone does.
He's a beast.
Yeah, exactly. And so
um,
he utilizes it. I'm really excited to see him over there. So you guys should take the opportunity, see how Bryce uses these tools. I think it's very good.
And I just think it'll be a well-rounded. It looks like they have a lot more space.
Yeah, it's a very nice venue.
And I think it'll be a little more intuitive. You know what I mean? A little more. You guys will have the station set up, and
it won't be our first time.
Exactly.
So we'll be even.
You can only get better.
Tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always hard the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when I was on my vacation, I looked back and I was looking at the first show that I did here, and I'm like,
this is my first podcast too.
What in the hell?
Yeah.
And I was so nervous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody is.
Yeah.
It's, and now I'm like
comfortable.
I guess, I just look at this thing. I'm like, if S doesn't show up tonight, I'm just winging this whole thing by myself.
Yeah. Be just fine.
So, what do you see in the future for StainLINER?
What I see is, I think a big bottleneck with StainLINER is tool production.
100%.
So that's definitely our bottleneck, and that's something that StainLINER is working on, and we are working on it. And there is plans to.
I did it wrong again.
SPS 10.
SPS 10. I put SPF, so it's Thomas has got me straightened out. John Scotto's got me squared away.
Okay, that's all good. Yeah. So we're planning on increasing tool production and yet still maintain, because there's plenty of avenues we can take to increase tool production and maybe sacrifice some quality. And we've chosen not to take those avenues because quality is very important. So we want to maintain quality and increase production, and we have to do that ourselves.
And I think some of the questions I also get, I had a lot of questions. A lot of people reached out this week, and it's a short week for me because I got back. And A1.
Yes.
A1 produces some of the tools.
Yes, very fine job they're doing.
Obviously, there's a little bit of a difference there. Obviously, because Kaz isn't touching them, and but it's the same designs.
Yes, so there's a few positions, a few different models that A1 makes for StainLINER. They don't make all of them, but there's a few that they do make, and they do a good job of making those ones.
Yeah. I mean, the quality looks good.
Yeah, and they work.
Yeah,
exactly, and they're better at volume production.
Well, yeah,
it's natural.
It's. I think Kaz is at that point to where almost he wants to touch everyone.
That's literally the truth. I mean, any tool you guys get direct from Lithuania, Kaz has put his hands on it, and he has the majority of the production of those tools is Kaz. And that's why you might even see a slight variance in the same model of tool. It's because everyone's handmade. So every tool is slightly unique,
And is that a problem?
No, I think I've never seen it to be a problem. They all work equally well. But you might see a little thing here, a little thing there, and it's just the nature of a handmade product.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, even like back in the day, those Bentleys and the interiors were always a little different.
And I think
handmade.
I think they're close enough to where it's not a major ordeal.
It's not. I like it. I think it gives it character.
I think it's just craftsmanship.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not laser cutted. It's not CNC'd.
Exactly,
it's ground and
handmade with passion.
Yeah.
Yep. And so we want to maintain that and increase production, which is something we need to do.
And it's hard. I mean, I've talked to Thomas a bunch, and it's a good thing to have.
It's a good problem,
but it's a bad thing at the same time because that guy stresses out.
Yeah, he's very stressed out.
Orders and getting them out.
Yeah. So that's the major thing Thomas is always trying to fix, and we have plans, and you guys will see in the near future, what we come out with.
So I've got an announcement too.
What's that?
So for the listeners on this show, we're going to do some StainLINER tool giveaways.
Not my tools, right?
It's up to you. We could give these away too. So how you're going to be able to win these tools, the next 2 people that sign up for the StainLINER event.
Did Thomas post a link?
Not yet.
All right.
So the next 2 people that sign up get 2. One of the tools aren't even released yet.
Yes, and one of them is this tool, the
So
straight crane.
one person's going to get the straight crane
Mm-hmm.
before the rest of the world.
Yep.
The other one is going to get the unreleased tool.
Yes, which is I've seen only a picture of it. It's kind of similar to this, except the finish on it and the end on it is totally
I
different.
have a picture of it right
But
now.
it's a similar shape, and I use this tool quite often.
Here is the picture. I should have just shared it on here.
Those are the two tools. So one of those tools will go to one guy, the other two will go to another guy, and these are the two first guys to sign up today. And you can utilize that code also. So get you 10%
We're actually going to let it run. We're going to let it run until January 1.
The code,
the giveaway.
the giveaway.
So we're going to let the giveaway run until January 1.
Okay.
The next two people that sign up until January 1,
okay,
they have to, in the notes section, they have to put Dent Digest.
Okay.
That's how we can tell if you were watching.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting tools.
Yeah.
You know, plus you're going to get 10% discount.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
So you're getting $300-400.
Yeah, so if you were on the fence about it, I mean, jump on it now. And I mean, sign up right now before someone else does. If you're on the fence about it, get it done.
You know,
but I love having bigger crowds, a bigger, what is it?
I didn't even get to
People
really
work
talk
with.
to you at MTE because you were deep with people. You
I
know,
yeah, there's a lot of people, and my feet are just done at the end of those events.
and you're hungry.
Yeah, a lot of times I don't even eat.
No.
Yeah.
But I think if you're on the fence at the price point of the event,
Mm-hmm.
what do you have to lose?
We're trying to make it convenient with the timing and the location. You know, we're trying to offer you guys something different. You know, this is not just another event. You're really getting something tangible as far as techniques go, and I think it's very good. I mean, like Mike says, and Mike's one of my role models in this industry, is mixed martial dents. I mean, why not have more tools at your disposal?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense not to have that. And it's not like us as dent guys can't afford such events. You know, for the most part,
It's a write-off for one.
it's a write-off. Timing's good.
It's practice.
Exactly.
Like we said, you know,
and not just that. If you are just a fan of purchasing StainLINER tools, you have a few perks there too. Because yes, you'll have first dibs on tools for the event. You will have also whoever attends these events gets to join our StainLINER private group in Facebook. And with that, new releases always goes to the group first. So people in this Facebook group, they'll get first dibs from here on out on all tools that are freshly released. So it's continuous payoff with attending these events. Yeah.
And you're getting a free tool and a discount.
If you're one of the lucky two. Well, you're getting a discount no matter what, but free tool if you're one of the lucky two.
You know, the two tools, like I said, January 1, we're going to cut it off. The next two people, Thomas is going to mail them out.
Yep, just put in the notes, Dent Digest.
As soon as he finds out, January 1, we'll mail them right out to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be the first ones besides you and probably Cliff.
Yeah, I don't even have the other one. I have the straight crane.
So, and I think some of the tools, like we were talking before we came on the show, Pirate Hook. I don't use it because I don't quite. I've tried.
Yeah,
but you need that
a pirate
guidance.
Hook is one of those tools that if someone comes to the booth, I always try to get them on a pirate hook and get them on something with a knife edge. And with the pirate hook, when you first roll out a crease instead of stitching the crease out, for me, it's a paradigm shift. I mean, you never want to stitch out another crease.
Yeah.
You know, you might have to because of a unique situation, of a unique position of a dent where there's no way you can get a tool on to roll it. That's fine. But when you can get a pirate hook on it or a killer whale tail on it or any sort of tool to roll out that crease, it's amazing. I mean, it's really game changing.
I was doing a nasty fender and I was talking to Mike Toledo on the phone and sent him a picture and he's like, "You gonna use killer whale tail?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Can you come help me? Because I don't have one." He's like, "Man, they could be done that in like 15 minutes." And I'm like,
and clean. It's really amazing.
That spoon tool interests me.
Yeah.
They were just gone. You know, they were gone. Toledo got one.
And I'm not even sure if they're going to be
available. He had 3.
Yeah.
He had 3 at MTE.
It was a limited launch. I'm very happy I got one. I've been using it a lot.
You know,
Yeah.
but I think you only benefit if you do go to that event. Benefit as in the tool. Like
Yeah.
me, I have a tool I
Mhm.
rarely use.
Yep. And that's the thing, guys. If you have these tools and you find yourself not using them on a regular basis, because I literally, if you look at my cart, and any guy who's worked with me, if they look, they can tell you my cart is pretty much all StainLiner rods, and I'm doing all my daily stuff with it. I'm doing my hail with it. I'm doing a lot of stuff. You know, if I'm working on a big roof, I really want to reach, I'll grab my carbon tech. You know, but for the vast majority of what I do is StainLiner, is all StainLiner, and so that you need that training, that one-on-one time. You know, a lot of guys think they have it, and they're almost there, but they don't quite have it. So once you spend a little bit of time with somebody who does understand it, who has been properly trained by Kaz, then it really opens up the possibilities, and then you can really start utilizing these tools to the full potential and get the most out of your investment.
Now, with you, you went to StainLiner for training. Have you been back?
No, I have not been back, but at pretty much every event, we get to spend time with Kaz again. So we always spend a little more time with him and always picking up stuff because he has so much experience and such
Was he
a wealth of
self-trained?
knowledge.
Self-trained?
Yeah, I believe he was self-trained, and I think one of the biggest reasons why he is as good as he is because from his part of the world, which was a Soviet bloc, you know, they parts, and it's still true to some parts of the world today, is parts were more expensive than labor. So they were fixing everything. I mean, wrecks and crashes and rollovers, and he was doing. Oh, and not just another thing at the event. He will teach you his heavy duty glue pulling techniques
Yes.
that can really move a lot of metal and
I think he uses a whole
techniques he
stick of
was
glue on
using.
there.
I mean, this guy was using a frame rack like I don't know how many decades ago, and really getting frames back in position so he can straighten out panels. And so decades and decades of this of fixing basically anything, that's what got him
And I
to the
have
level
some of
that
those
he's at.
tabs.
Exactly. But
Thomas
those
sent me some of
tabs,
those.
now those tabs are a great example of people looking at them and like, okay, they don't know how to use them. And we
Yeah.
haven't really explained it. We have explained it at the last event.
Yeah.
And it's you wouldn't assume it.
No.
It's a very unique way of
It takes a
using it.
lot of glue.
Exactly. Yeah. How you
Um,
prep it, how you set it up.
and the glue is different.
And it has to be that glue. It has
Yes.
to be StainLiner glue.
It doesn't work with anything else.
No, it doesn't. The glue has to perform in a certain way.
Yeah.
But then it's reusable.
Yeah.
So it can last a long time.
Yeah.
But that's a great example of StainLiner in general. It's like, you know, it's different.
That's exactly what I
Yeah.
was going to say.
And you can't fully appreciate how different it is until you see how it's properly done.
And that's me.
Yep.
I'm a perfect example of a lot of the guys watching on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm an old dog that's
But
like
you can attest to it with the crane tool.
100%.
Yeah.
And I use a ton of the hand tools.
Yep.
Ton of them. I've got the little fishtails.
Yep.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I mean, even Shane's, and he's a new tech. He's never bought a dent tool in his life, and he goes, "That's the first one I'm buying at MT."
I've seen a lot of new techs, people who are learning, and you give them I think Mike's mentioned this too, is you give them the StainLiner tools, and it spoils them. It's like you almost don't want to teach them on StainLiner. You want them to suffer a little bit, so then they can really appreciate it when they do use the StainLiner tools.
I really appreciate the quality.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to look at.
You know, like I told Thomas this last year, it's the Ferrari. Mm-hmm. It really is. And I'm not just saying this because I have you guys on the show and I have a relationship with both of you guys. Mm-hmm. If you look, you know.
Yeah. And here's the other thing: there's a ton of techs who are phenomenal techs and not using any StainLiner techniques or tools and just knocking stuff out at a very high level. And so we're not saying you know this is what you need to be that good, because a lot of guys that are well surpassed that. But what we're saying is, why not have an extra set, a different set of tools to get you there? Maybe get you there quicker, or if you are there, maybe get you there.
And the hard part is
easier on your body.
You have older techs like me, that don't want to learn anything new. It's like the old guys with the cell phone. I don't know how to text. How many times do you get that? You get a guy that's trying to send you photos. I don't know how to text. I'm gonna have to get my grandson to do that, and I'm like, dude, it's not that hard.
You have to take the time, they're capable of learning.
Exactly.
Yep. Then you will. The more experience you have, the more of a muscle memory you'll have to work against. So the newer guys will have a little bit of advantage because they don't have that, several years of muscle memory and one way of doing it to work against. So, newer guys is a little easier to pick up, but for the older guys that have been doing it for a long time, I've seen plenty of them pick it up, and they all end up making their hybrid
way of using it,
hybrid
like
way of
Bryce.
using it. Now, Bryce, I would say Bryce has a Bryce way of using it because he's never had StainLINER training. I mean, he's had an explanation here and there, so maybe there's somewhat of a hybrid, but it's very very much Bryce's way of doing it. But that attests to how clean the tools repair.
And I think for the event, excuse me, I'm sorry. For the event, it'll be good for other techs to see that style.
Yes, I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. So, like we said, we're giving you guys a 10% off for for the viewers of this show. First 2 people by January 1 to sign up for the StainLINER event. Free tools.
Yep. If you could, guys, go out there and nominate Kaz.
100.
I think it was a 2-person of the year.
Yeah.
Thomas will have the link on it.
Yeah, we've got the link in here. If not, go to StainLINER's Facebook page, and he has everything on there to where it'll direct you right to the section that you need to do to sign up.
We'll try to make it easy for you. Is there any questions? Does anybody
No,
have?
we've been rolling through them.
Look at that.
It's been.
Have you been replying to questions?
Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you came down.
Yeah, me too, man. That's great.
We got to hang out quite a bit in Vegas, and looks like we do. There's a guy in here. He spent $1,800 this year in StainLINER tools. He has a killer whale and the mini pirate coming next week. Love the tools. Have changed the way he fixes dents.
Okay, compliment. Not much of a question.
Look at that.
Even better.
Yeah, I mean,
and
any of these
guys. I mean, you guys can reach out to and speak to people who had attended the previous event, and I hear the same thing from all of them. I mean, I think quite a few of them, especially at the last event at the beginning, they're a little like, okay, what's it gonna be? What's it really gonna be like? And then by the end of it, they're like, oh man, I'm so glad I came out here. I really picked up a lot of things, and they're really grateful for being out there. So it's very useful. It's not just something you go to and you feel like, you waste your money at the end. You really feel like you gained a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was similar to how I felt when I went and trained with Kaz, and for the guys who are thinking about actually going to the Lithuanian training with Kaz, this is a really good opportunity to get in the right foot. This is the shotgun blast, and you can get
it's like a test drive.
Exactly, like a test drive. You really feel it out before you commit yourself. Even if you got the opportunity to train with Kaz, I mean, that's a very limited opportunity, period. And but you could, get a feel for all the techniques and tools. And if you did get the opportunity to train with Kaz, then you can really hone in on the things you really need help with. So it's definitely do both if you can. But this is way more accessible.
Yeah. And I think it'll be, a good Don Cavanaugh is in here, and he had the last seminar.
Yep.
He says it's a must. He said he'll just thank him later.
Yeah. And he's a vet.
Yeah,
so
he uses a lot of them too. I mean, we talk
does.
all the time, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm using."
Yep.
Like, it's
in the beginning, you have to force yourself a little bit.
100%, and you have to try.
You have to
different things, even though it doesn't feel correct.
Yeah.
Feel correct. You have to.
Yep. But in attending an event like this, it just really accelerates the whole process. It just really puts you on the right foot to utilize these tools properly.
Yeah.
And so you're not, trying to guess and play games with it. You can just use it properly from the beginning and just be on your way.
And the good thing is, Cliff, and Thomas, and you, I mean, we sat at the bar in Vegas for hours and talked. Any of these guys, you can talk or ask techniques or just have a conversation about it.
Yeah, and if you don't fully get it from the way one guy explains it, you will eventually get it from one of us.
Yeah. The guy's asking Kaz before Marty.
I trained with Marty before Kaz. So I did my fundamentals, my initial training with Marty, and then I went with Kaz for my advanced training.
And what is your go-to tool?
For hail, the spoon, the hail spoon, which I'm sorry is not going to be super available. But this tool right here, for hail, for door dings, for retail,
I use it in the wire harness on the rear door a lot.
A lot, yes. And I also see the straight one being very good for that.
Yes.
Through that wire harness.
Yes.
And fenders, I mean,
I used the crane on a tailgate today, an older Silverado. you pull off the top cap, it doesn't have the open on the back, and there were these big ovals.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed just enough leverage to where it wouldn't damage the top of the tailgate,
Yep.
even though it has a cap. And that kick gave
Yep.
it enough to where
Exactly.
it was
Yep.
all over it.
Oh yeah,
So-
and fenders are very
Yeah.
good. This tool right here, I use this a lot. I use this in all sorts of scenarios: doors, trunks, fenders. It gives you a lot of power and unique reach to get to different dents.
Says a snake tool is a great tool also.
Snake tool is a great tool. Yeah, I mean it's one of those tools, one of those initial stainliner tools you get. It really helps you develop the different stainliner techniques, like samurai technique or dragging. Snake tool is very good for the fundamentals of stainliner.
And we've got a guy in here. Well, not really. One of the things he says, Straight Line says, long neck tool has a lot of power to push out with little effort.
Long neck tool. Yeah, I mean there's a few different long neck tools, but yeah, I mean
Maybe
to be honest with you, I'm not sure exactly which tool he's talking
maybe
about.
he's talking about the raised crane, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, and that does have a lot of power. Like if you're working
A
on the
fender.
fender, yeah, leveraging off of the fender, it has a lot of power.
Now the other 911 Dent says staNLINER Salesman of the Year. I wouldn't even say that.
Yeah, I don't like being a salesman.
You know what? The first time we met was at MTE.
Yeah, in Florida.
And when you were showing me tools, you weren't pushy.
Mhm.
You're not. You're figuring me out
Yeah,
while I'm trying to figure out how to use this thing. And I wouldn't say it was a sales pitch.
yeah. I never liked that, and that's I'm really I'm genuine in my
Yeah.
approach, or at least I can't help not be. I mean, it's my nature. I like to convey. If I have something that I think can help somebody, I like to convey that.
Yeah.
I don't like to sales.
Feel
pitch
like a
at all.
sale.
Yeah, no, I hate that. That's why I'm not a car salesman.
You're not a salesman. You're an advocate.
Yeah, that's probably a better word for it.
You know.
Yep.
Mike Toledo says A1. I don't even know what that is. He's speaking in a different language today. It says a long neck door tool built by A1 is what he's talking about.
Oh yeah, door tools, long neck. So that's the one that really has that long kick, like the L shape. Is that
I think
that
so.
what he's talking about? That has a lot of reach. That tool, I'm gonna be honest with you, that tool coupled with something like John Hiley's handle, then you really get to utilize that
power.
reach of the tool. I think it's very important. That, and then you can reach places in certain. I've used that tool, like the really long one,
Mhm.
through the harness of a rear door to get to the other side of the door to get to something, and it can really reach a lot of different places.
Now, another question. We're getting low on time, but another question. Why don't they do ratcheting handles? And
I have that question too.
you
So
don't-
at this time, it's not so much of an option, but that is something that I'm personally pushing for is proper ratcheting handles. I really want to have
I think the other
comfortable, powerful.
some of
ratcheting
these,
handles.
and I understand some of the handles on some of the tools.
Oh, why not ratcheting handles in general?
Yeah.
Okay, so the only time you want a ratcheting handle on a stainline tool is if it's going to be predominantly used on a door, which this one I say is a great candidate for a ratcheting handle. I would love. I'll do it myself. But all these other tools that you're going to blend with or you're going to push with, you don't want movement from the tool
No.
and the handle. You want to have a very solid tool, and that's what really gives you that feedback, so you can properly samurai with it.
And like some of the hand tools, there's a reason the handles like that.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, in the future, you might see more of it because I myself see it happening more in the future, especially for
It
towards down.
seems
tools.
like the last couple of years, everybody's going ratcheting.
Yes,
You know, it's
but some tools I wouldn't want
no,
to tamper with, especially tools that you're gonna do blending with.
yeah,
Yeah.
Which I don't know how you guys do.
I was actually at John Scotto's shop, and I because I don't have any tools that I've cut handles off of, and I was at John Scotto's shop. I actually grabbed one, and I was gonna use it for blending. I was like, oh, what was going on? And it just felt off.
because
I
it
was
was
like,
ratcheting.
this is why Kaz says don't do it.
Mhm.
And that's when it clicked.
Yeah.
But if you're going down a door and you're torquing with it, you're twisting with it, I say do it. It wouldn't make sense not to.
Well, I appreciate you coming out here, and
Thank you for having me, man.
you know, we could sit here for another 3 hours and
Yeah,
talk.
oh, yeah, easily.
But we're not going to bore you guys anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I
think we got
appreciate.
all the important
Yeah,
bits of info out there. Right?
yeah. The next two guys getting free tools.
Has it not happened already?
I don't know. Thomas hasn't called yet.
Yeah, I might go on there myself.
Why do you have to do that? You got plenty of tools.
You know, even this last event in Vegas, I had no intentions of getting new tools. I was like, you know what? Don't get tools this time. You're all set. You don't need it. I get there, I see a whole bunch of new things, a whole bunch of shiny new tools I've never seen before, and I had to get them. And then actually those tools that I got at that event got back on the hail trail and been using the crap out of them. So I'm really glad I got them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it, man. You know,
Thank you.
go on StainLINER's website, sign up for the seminar. I've got the link up there.
Mm-hmm. Nominate Kaz.
Nominate Kaz.
Yep.
I know the seminar is definitely filling up.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to limit how many people are in there.
Yeah.
They
really want guys to have a lot of hands-on time. I mean, this is not a theory seminar. This is very much a hands-on, one-on-one training. You know, it's like a shotgun blast of training. You're going to get multiple stations, multiple trainings, a lot of time on tool. And so that's why we want to have a lot of trainer to trainee ratio. And so, you know, get in, and we'll always have plenty of trainers and stations.
Nominate Kaz.
Yep.
Next two guys to sign up, free tools and 10% off. Get it while you can. Make sure you note in there, Dent Digest. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
It's been fun. Another week. Next week, we are going to do another one, even though it's in between Christmas and New Year's.
Yep.
And I appreciate you guys watching. And remember, guys, keep it real. See you next week.
See you guys.
Thanks.